All right, we move back over to Brad Lawler, who is owner of Home Team Inspection Service and also Team Bug Out. William is buying a home that had a home inspection, Brad, and in this email he says the report was more than 100 pages with more than 50 problems. He is wondering, how does he tell which ones are the important problems to ask for repairs? And he's also saying in the email he's asking if he's under the impression that asking for everything, the seller's going to shut down, say no, and just he'll have to walk away. What does he do there, Brett?
So what you do is you get a sample report from your home inspector before you hire him. The challenge that we have is sometimes these reports are boilerplate language. So there's a lot of just generic content that is in these reports. And so it is very difficult to figure out what should be called out and what shouldn't be. Because if you look at a home team inspection report, for instance, I mean, our average report is going to be somewhere around 35 pages long, roughly. And we have a summary that's up near the top of it so that you can kind of identify the biggest things, those material defects, like Cora had mentioned earlier. Those are highlighted out there. But the problem is that every inspector's report is a little bit different. Some put a summary at the end. Some don't use a summary at all because they think all 100 pages of their report are very, very important, and every page should be read. I agree that every page of a home inspection report should be read because there are what we call notes. There's a lot of information about maintenance on the home that needs to continue. So you want to read the full content. So the only advice that I can have for him is read the whole report, because you're going to have to figure out, you and your agent, the agents are pretty, well versed in going through these reports too. But when you have 100 pages in your report, it's just tough. And there's so much just generic language in there that it's hard to pick out the important pieces from just the ink on paper. So again, the advice is, before you hire that home inspector, get a copy of the sample report, because that's the only thing that a home inspector is delivering to you is a written report. If you can't use the written report that you see as a sample, don't hire that home inspector.
Yeah, also there's some home inspectors who will add cosmetic items that really aren't negotiable because you saw the house at the time of the first or second viewing, and you already made the offer based on what the house's condition is visually, correct?
Well, keep in mind that cosmetic items are not within the scope of a home inspection. So I'm not going to come in and tell you, So I'm not going to come in and tell you that the curtains from 1978 are out of style and need to be replaced. That should not be in my report because it's not in the scope. Some home inspectors do that as, quote, a courtesy.
Yeah.
But home inspectors listening to the radio show, all you're doing is you're going outside your scope, you're going outside your standards of practice. And now if you miss something, well, you talked about the curtains and the paint. Why didn't you talk about the crack in the garage floor? You're outside your standards, so you got to catch everything then.
Very good point. A reminder, if you want to hear what sellers are saying about us and see what they're saying, I've done a lot of videos at the closing tables. Go to LouisvilleSellersTalk.com. That's LouisvilleSellersTalk.com.